You're watching CTOM TV. Knowledge is power.
All right, so now, what would you like us to know? How can I help you help us learn about glioblastoma?
How can you help me help us?
What questions would you like me to ask you?
Well, I'm taking some notes. You
Okay.
can move my notes if you want.
No, that's fine. Just don't drop them on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is a type of cancer. Gliomas specifically are a type of cancer that affect a lot of people, and I think there's a lot of misinformation on gliomas. People think it's a deadly disease. It can be. It can also be something where you have a long-term survival. Once again, it's down to the genetic mutations.
Okay, and of course, how quickly you're diagnosed, how well.
Yes, that makes a huge
like
difference. Yes, obviously, surgery is a big component of this. What most people, and I find this is very interesting, is a lot of the medical community has not adopted the science on brain tumors. And I think a big part of that is most brain tumors are treated by neurosurgeons and not oncologists. So they're neurosurgeons with a bit of knowledge on, oncology, but they don't really get cancer. That's not their thing. So this is the biggest problem right now with treating brain tumors, is they're not really addressed well to the scientific community.
The communication between the cancer specialists and the brain specialists.
Yeah, and I went to we're going to talk about this later, but I went to this training session for an amazing new technology. And, I think this is just an incredible new technology. This is, quite a few years ago. And I had dinner with, the guy that was basically invented this. The guy's a genius, He's just done this amazing stuff, and he's spent a lot of time. And he was actually a brain tumor neurologist and an oncologist. And I was shocked at how little he actually knew about brain tumors themselves. We had some discussions, and I just assumed he was up on a lot of this data, and he really wasn't. And, he was saying that there's really no developments, and tumor DNA sequencing is a waste of time. And I thought, okay, let's just focus on what you have to offer. And he has so much to offer in his own field.
Right.
But, genetics.
You chose over dinner not to educate him on all these things. It
would have taken too long. The basic understanding of genetics and stem cells and everything.
So somebody who's developed this very leading edge tool, somebody that you think of
who's
as
made a huge difference in brain tumors,
and still doesn't
understand
the cancer
aspect of it. Yeah, and that was true. I spoke to a lot of these neurologists over the the 3 days I was there, and very few of them had any kind of knowledge about genetics or molecular features of cancer. They were brain specialists, and that's their.
So that's concerning.
It is a little concerning.
Yeah.
It is. And I think, when we see cases like Gord Downey and other people like that, I think there's so many treatment options that could have been provided to these people that weren't.
For those of you who don't know, we are Canadian, and Gord Downey was, until this last year, a Canadian musician,
national hero
from a band called the Tragically Hip, which is very popular throughout the world, but certainly here in Canada. And he died sadly earlier this year from
and he had a very short survival time. I'm sure he could have lived longer had he had the proper treatments.
Yeah, which is the frustrating thing, isn't it? I'm sure for someone in your position, seeing these people, this is so many celebrities right now. Alex Trebek, for example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, some of our favorite people who are struggling with cancer, who aren't necessarily. They might be going to great hospitals and working with excellent doctors, but they're not necessarily using everything that precision oncology has to bring to their case.
Exactly.
Thank you for watching CTOM TV. Subscribe below and stay informed.